We are live from chilly Baltimore, Monday Night Football. Happy Martin Luther King Day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the great holiday today after the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We are here to celebrate by playing some great SFL football out here on the gridiron. We've got the Baltimore Vultures playing host to the Sioux Falls Sparrows. My name is Eric Vincent, alongside Marcus Dunhill and Lee Potto on stats. What's going on today, Marcus?
Good. Thanks for having me. This should be a really good game we got here. Both teams coming in 1-1. Momentum, I think, is on the side of Sioux Falls, who came off with a victory last week. Baltimore came out with a defeat last week, so they'll be looking to turn it around. But with the momentum on Sioux Falls' side, what is Baltimore going to do?
And we're going to midfield for the coin toss. Sioux Falls in the white jerseys, white pants. Baltimore will be in the red and white. So Baltimore has won the toss, and they will defer to start things off, so they will get the second half kickoff. And we will pause for just a moment here while we get the ball teed up. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. And Shark Tarkington has the ball teed up. He's ready to kick it away to Sioux Falls. We're already here in chilly Baltimore, 19 degrees out on the field, but it feels like -1. So we're in for some fun, chilly football here on Monday night. Fielded from inside the 5-yard line, bringing it up the field is Sioux Falls. They will be dragged down at the 25-yard line, and that is where Julian Tyree will take over. And what do we have in store for us with this Sioux Falls Sparrows offense, Marcus?
Well, we were talking about before the broadcast that these teams are so evenly matched. Good offenses, good running games, good receivers, and good secondaries by both teams. I'm excited to see how the running game gets going for Sioux Falls.
Sparrows will start off with 3 wide receivers towards the top of the screen. He's going to throw it over the middle, does Tyree, and that's caught. Sean Harrelson with his first catch of the ball game, out to the 32-yard line, gain of 6.
Good throw by Tyree. That was a very small window he had. He put it right between 2 defenders for his receiver. Very good throw, I think.
Colin Hart is the running back here as they come out in a full house formation. Sean Harrelson, we've seen him. A.J. Warren, Riley Porter was the kick returner and wide receiver there as well, as Colin Hart gets his first carry, lowering the shoulder and getting close to the first down marker. They will give him the first down out across the 35.
Colin Hart was able to shake off one defender, and he did a really good job making sure he got the ball to the line. He didn't get much further than that, but all he needs is a first down and regroup and go back to the huddle.
Craig Hearn, the tight end, the final member of that Sparrows offense that I didn't get a chance to mention on the last play. 1st and 10 here for the Sparrows, as Hart will get another handoff, and he's in trouble in the backfield, able to at least get past the line of scrimmage for a gain of 2 on the play. Tackle made by Joe Dazzo.
Good job by Baltimore's defenders. They were right over.
Another handoff to Colin Hart. Hart has some room on the left-hand side, and he'll get another first down out across the 36-yard line, where they will move the sticks once again.
That potentially could have been a touchdown-saving tackle. Looks like Colin Hart was getting to the outside and just didn't quite have enough speed to break that edge. But that was very close.
So a productive first drive here for Sioux Falls as they get into enemy territory, close to field goal range, as Hart gets nailed in the backfield there. That was a quick attack by Tony Willis coming up from his safety spot.
With as good as the secondary is for Baltimore, I'm not surprised to see them running more than they're throwing, although the linebacking core is also good for Baltimore, so they just got to make sure that they can take any yards any way they can get them, and it looks like they're going to try by running.
So a 2nd and 9 now from the 35 as we approach the 8-minute mark here in the first quarter. Sioux Falls will throw out to the far sideline, and that is caught. Riley Porter, the kick returner, out there with his first catch, and that's going to make a 3rd and manageable coming up.
If you get a chance to get 5 or 6 yards, you definitely need to do it. It makes those 3rd down plays a little more manageable. Then you can decide if you want to run it for 3 yards or you want to try for a quick pass, but you don't want to be in that 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10.
So 3rd and 3 coming out in the full house formation again is Sioux Falls. Tyree under center. He's going to throw. They'll swing it out quickly to Hart. Hart's in trouble, and he's going to go down in the backfield. That'll be a 4th down coming up and a stop for the Baltimore defense.
That's good play recognition by Baltimore to not get fooled into thinking it's a run, and they stayed with the person who caught the ball and made sure he didn't come close to getting the 1st down.
So Sammy Prefontaine is going to line up for this field goal here. 47 yards by my estimate. Good snap kick on the way, and it is no good. Doinked off the upright. I believe it was the right upright there, and that's a bad miss there for Sioux Falls coming out the gates.
It's always a risk when you take those long field goal shots. You never know quite where that ball is going to go, but now it looks like Baltimore will have some decent field position to see what they're going to do now that they have a shot at the offense.
And as I mentioned, disappointing for Sioux Falls as they had a very productive first possession. We will see what Mike Dazzo and company have in store for the Sioux Falls defense now as the Vultures come out on offense. Hand off to T-Roy Gaines, who runs up the left-hand sideline for a good gain of 6 on 1st down.
T-Roy is definitely going to be looking for some revenge after he spent some time with the medical staff last week. He was taken out of that game against Las Vegas, and he's back in this week, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do with his time back.
Also got Bishop Warfield and Daley Holder at wide receiver, Lee Weber, the undrafted rookie, at tight end. Right across the middle of the field, and that is Bishop Warfield with his first catch. He went off for over 180 yards in his previous game against the Las Vegas Fury.
It's a good job by Warfield to stay over the middle and stay short of where the defenders were. Great, easy catch. There weren't too many defenders around him.
So fresh set of downs here for the Vultures as they near midfield. Dazzo's under center. Gains the single back. Dazzo's going to throw a quick one over the middle, and that's Warfield again. This time he only gets a couple on the play, wrapped up by a couple of the linebackers for Sioux Falls.
Warfield is definitely a dangerous weapon in Baltimore's passing offense. You got to be very careful that he doesn't get loose and make any big plays on you.
Alex Parker, Nick Fargo, the linebackers for Sioux Falls. Andrew Nyberg, John Barnhart, the 13th overall pick. They are at corner. Jay Ringgold and A.J. Levy at safeties as T-Roy Gaines bursting through tackles and dragging defenders down to the 31-yard line for a 1st and 10.
Dragged 2 people loose and was able to keep going. It finally, with the 3rd person who hit him, was able to take him down, but that's the kind of run T-Roy is definitely looking for. Was able to make it through. The first guy just held on to him and couldn't go anywhere. The second guy slipped off as well. Great run and a great job by T-Roy to make sure that even though people are pulling on him, he keeps his feet moving.
And you certainly wouldn't know that it feels like -1 out there on the field the way that T-Roy's running tonight. 1st and 10, Dazzo's in the gun. He'll throw towards the far sideline, caught, and that's the tight end, Lee Weber, with his first catch of the ball game, and he'll move the sticks as he breaks through to the SFL red zone down to the 18-yard line.
Seems like both Baltimore and Sioux Falls are doing pretty good at moving the football down the field. Baltimore, it's been a mix of run and pass, and for Sioux Falls, it's been more run than pass, but so far, both teams are moving the football.
We'll see what happens here as the Vultures have gotten a little bit farther than the Sparrows did on their first possession. I formation this time for Dazzo. Dazzo with a short drop. He's going to airmail it over to the left-hand sideline, and that's caught only for a gain of 1. That's another catch by Weber.
That was not a great situation to put your tight end in. That ball was kind of lofted up a little bit, and it was in the air for quite a while, and it only got you a yard or two. It's one of those passes that you're wondering if that was worth throwing.
3 wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen. Dazzo under center, gains the single back. Dazzo's going to throw. Throws it towards the end zone, tipped and incomplete. That could have easily been picked off, intended for Daley Holder.
He over the top of the defender. He was pretty wide open in the corner, but it was a great job by Sioux Falls to make sure they got a hand on that football. They weren't quite able to bring it down, but great job by making sure that ball didn't go near the receiver.
And that was the rookie John Barnhart, the 13th overall pick, making the play out there, bringing up the 3rd and 9 here for the Vultures. Over the middle of the field, tipped in, incomplete. A little bit of butterfingers out there by Morgan, and the Sparrows couldn't quite complete the interception, so we'll see a Tarkington field goal attempt.
See if Baltimore has a little more luck with the kicking than Sioux Falls did on the first drive. This will definitely be a shorter field goal for Baltimore.
Yeah, most definitely. A 34-yard attempt here for Shark Tarkington, definitely within his wheelhouse. Left-footed kicker lining up here with just over 4 minutes left to go here in the opening quarter. Good snap, and the kick is up and on the way. It is through from 33, so Baltimore strikes first after Sioux Falls could not convert their field goal attempt. It's 3-0 for Baltimore.
We've seen good life out of Sioux Falls. They definitely moved the ball pretty well. They just couldn't quite get into enough range for their kicker, so nothing to worry about here quite yet. I'm excited to see how they're going to change things up on the second drive, see if they can get a little bit closer.
So a good drive there by Baltimore as they kick it down to Riley Porter, bringing it up the field, and he will get stopped at the 23-yard line before he goes any further. And we'll see the second possession here for Julian Tyree and company. As you mentioned, Marcus, it was a good possession, just couldn't quite get the points on the board.
Yeah, they're probably going to look at what they can adjust to make sure that they get a little bit further down the field. But I'm guessing they'll try a little more passing.
Offset I formation. Colin Hart's going to get the handoff. He's got room to run on the right-hand side, and he eventually gets dragged down at the 29. And I'm trying to see if that was Hendricks Thornberry out there with the tackle or not.
Those yards after contact are definitely the most important yards to make sure that if you get contacted, you at least get as many as you can afterwards, because that's where you start seeing the difference between good running backs and great running backs.
So 2nd and 4 now. Tyree is in trouble. He goes down. Saw that one coming a mile away. Tony Willis comes in there unblocked and gets the sack on Tyree.
Got to make sure you block your defenders. You got to give your quarterback time to be able to throw that football, and he had, maybe about 2 seconds, and that just wasn't enough to make anything happen.
So that brings up a 3rd and long now for the Sparrows. Empty set, 4 wide receivers, 3 towards the top of the screen. Tyree is going to throw. He'll throw it over the middle of the field, and he converts the first down with a completion to Sean Harrelson out across the sticks to the 39.
Great play by Tyree to pick up that first down. Julian Tyree is right now 5 for 5 in attempts and completions, so he's doing an efficient job with the football when he throws.
And let us know how we're sounding out there in chat land, everybody. Good to have everybody along with us. Apollo the Owl, TMG Jr., Tom Rahman, Jason1347, Colin Hart, Thomas Paternitti, and others. Sonic 0002, I see you in there as well. So welcome aboard. Julian Tyree is going to throw once again. He's got a screen pass out to Colin Hart, and Hart gets a few on that play before he's tackled by Dazzo and Thornberry.
It's tough for a running back to be able to shake 2 people at once. If that was one defender, I think he might have been able to get through that. Colin Hart is one of those running backs, that will make it past the first defender, but there's not a lot of room when 2 people are tackling you at the same time.
Another offset eye, another Hart handoff, throwing the stiff arm, and another one. And he's getting out to about the 47-yard line before he's dragged down. Could have gone for much, much more if a few more of those stiff arms worked there, Marcus.
He got through 2 people. It's those yards after contact. He picked up like an extra 4 yards after being contacted behind the line of scrimmage. Just great job by him to make sure that he didn't go down for a loss.
Who doesn't love some yak yards, am I right? I formation for a 3rd and 3. Another handoff to Colin Hart, and Hart's got some space on the near sideline. He finally gets dragged down by Giovanni Bolt, but not before he moved the sticks once again, and this is another good-looking drive for the Sparrows.
Good job by Bolt making sure he keeps Colin Hart off balance as he tried to stiff arm, and they both went to the ground. If Colin Hart would have gotten through there, he would have been gone, so it was, good job making sure that Hart got pulled down to the ground.
So 1st and 10 now. Just over a minute left to go here in the opening quarter of play. 3-0 your score in favor of Baltimore. Sioux Falls going to throw again. Tyrese got his man and got another first down. A good-looking throw out there to A.J. Warren, his first catch of the ball, ball game. Excuse me.
Sioux Falls is keeping those passes very sparingly, but they are working at 6 for 6, 100% completion percentage. I don't think they want to overthrow. They want to make sure Colin Hart gets the ball plenty of times, but they'll throw if they need to, and so far they're doing a good job with it.
Offset I formation. Looks like another Colin Hart handoff, and he goes nowhere. In fact, he'll get stopped behind the line. Good push there by the defensive front of the Vultures to get him stopped for no gain.
I agree. Good job by Baltimore making sure they stop Colin Hart behind the line of scrimmage, because you don't get to do that a whole lot. So anytime you can push that team backwards, it's a win.
Going with the big hefties on this formation here. Probably the last play of the first quarter as Hart gets another swing pass. He'll get a couple on that play before he's ushered out of bounds by Joe Dazzo. And I was wrong. They will stop the clock momentarily.
Sioux Falls is just starting to get into field goal range, so I think Baltimore's looking to either stop him here or push him back.
And there's the end of the first quarter. Got a tight ball game so far. Baltimore with a slim 3-0 lead, and you're watching the SFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill. Lee Pato on stats tonight. Want to thank you guys for enjoying Monday Night Football with us on this lovely Martin Luther King Day. It's a little cold here in Baltimore. Feels like -1 down there on the football field for a 3rd and 8. Tyree's going to pump fake, and he throws it just as he gets crunched behind the line. Brings it out to the 12-yard line, and that was a great catch by A.J. Warren once again.
When you get hit when you throw the ball, one of two things is going to happen. That ball is either going to go off course, or you're going to get very lucky and it's going to stay on course. And that was a good job of making sure he stayed where the ball was going to be, because when you get hit, that ball can go flying. As a quarterback with 8 interceptions in week 1, I know how errant that ball can get.
Offset I formation for a 1st and 10 at the 12. Colin Hart gets absolutely leveled. And is that Tony Willis coming up again? It is. He has been playing with reckless abandon tonight as he comes up and makes another vicious hit.
Tony Willis is doing great. Sioux Falls didn't gain any on that play, so as long as they can hold them out of the end zone, it's probably a win for Sioux Falls and hand the ball back over to the Baltimore offense.
2nd and 10 now. Tyree, same formation. He'll hand it off to Hart again. Hart following his blockers, lowering his shoulder, and he'll get dragged down this time by Amon Takes. A 3rd and 5 coming up here for the Sparrows.
Hart does such a good job going through those defenders, but Amon Takes came out of the same draft class as Colin Hart did, and he's not going to let Colin Hart go by.
In the gun is Tyree. He's got 2 backs back there with him. He'll throw it over the middle of the field, and that's caught. They're going to mark him shy of the first down, though. Clutch tackle by Amon Takes to make sure Harrelson is brought down before the line to gain. 4th and inches coming up.
I'm always a big fan of good quarterback play.
Ooh, and we got our first challenge of the game. Our first Harry's close call, close shave challenge. As we get a look here inside the replay hood. I'm not sure, Marcus. I'm thinking that he's still shy there. Well, that one was a little better.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The Sparrows
And Sioux Falls does get the first down there. They will overturn it. And Sioux Falls will not be charged a timeout, so it will be a first and goal coming up here for the Sparrows. A wise challenge by the coaching staff to throw the red flag. So from the 2-yard line, we'll see what Sioux Falls can do here. I think we're seeing more Colin Hart here, Marcus. Quick handoff to Hart. Hart being dragged down behind the line. He will actually lose 2 yards. And we will bring up a second and goal. From shave sets to handles, Harry's provides quality craftsmanship. Made in Germany, we make Harry's products from the finest materials and ingredients to ensure they perform as well as they possibly can. Use the coupon code SIMULATIONFL at purchase from harrys.com. Portion of your purchase supports the SFL, Harry's official razor of the SFL. Play action this time for Tyree. Throws it in the back of the end zone. Incomplete. Could not quite get the toe in. It's going to bring up a third and goal.
That's going to be his first incomplete pass out of 10 passes. 9 for 10 is not bad. He was probably hoping his receiver would have been able to keep 1 foot in.
So a third and goal now from the 4, offset I formation. We've seen a little bit of everything from this formation. This time it's a handoff to Colin Hart, and Colin Hart, they will mark him shy there. I apologize, folks. That looks like it should be a touchdown, but in actuality, they're going to mark him shy. That's a terrible call.
It's hard to say, you know, maybe did his knee just touch before the ball went across? You know, it's hard to tell.
I cannot believe that they had marked him shy there. He had crossed the goal line into the end zone. So, of course, this field goal here, basically like an extra point. So it's going to be a 3-3 ball game here. So I apologize. We'll get word down to our boy down there in the graphics truck and make sure that gets corrected. But an unfortunate turn of events here for Sioux Falls is they are unable to convert the touchdown when I thought it was very clear that he crossed the goal line there, Marcus.
You know, we didn't get a second look at it. They didn't play a replay, but it did look like he went straight across the goal line.
And so Cody Apollo gets a crack at returning the football for the first time, and he'll bring it out to the 27-yard line, where it's going to be a 1st and 10. And the chat going absolutely bananas right now. I think rightfully so. Like I said, Marcus, looking at it, to me, it looked like he crossed the goal line. But this weekend has been crazy with different calls across our different football leagues. So certainly this SFL no different, as Dazzo is going to throw it deep to Warfield, tipped and incomplete on that play. Good play by Nyberg to break it up.
Great play by Nyberg. Had the opportunity to make sure that no long pass was gone. Didn't really want to make a play on the football to try to intercept it, but as long as you can knock it down, you don't have to intercept it.
Second and 10 now from the 27. Offset I formation for Dazzo and company. Dazzo takes the snap. Good pocket. He zings it over to the far sideline there. I believe that's T-Roy with the catch out of the backfield. Only gets maybe a yard before he's stopped by one of the linebackers. I think that was McGee with his first stop.
T-Roy trying to make something out of that. However, they swarmed him pretty quick and were able to get to him, and he wasn't able to make it very far.
So now a 3rd and long. Gain sidecar right to Dazzo in the gun. Dazzo with a quick pass over the middle of the field. It's picked off going the other way. I believe that's A.J. Levy with the interception there. No, I apologize. That's Jay Ringgold with a catch and the interception and bringing it back the other way for Sioux Falls.
That was a great job. I want to take a look here at the replay. Watching the ball, watching the quarterback, knew as soon as he threw exactly where that ball was going. Just a perfect job reading the quarterback and making a break on the football, and the receiver had no chance.
And a good tackle by Dazzo there to bring him down. And again, guys, I apologize. They were getting word down to the graphics truck to make sure that the scoreboard gets corrected. Remain patient with us as we have a 3-3 ball game here. Just a little bit of a mishap there with the graphics as Colin Hart gets a swing pass out of the backfield, out to the 22-yard line for a gain of 6.
This is going to set Sioux Falls up in good field position. They don't have to rush, but they want to make sure that they get into the end zone.
Got plenty of time here as we approach the 7-minute mark here in the first half. Tyree under center. He's going to give it over to Hart, and Hart is squeaking through tacklers. Managed to make something out of nothing there. Probably should have lost 2 on the play, but he gets a gain of 1. Tackle made by Willis once again.
Colin Hart is always one of those people where if he gets contact behind the line, he's still usually able to make it about a 1-yard gain, so he's usually not going backwards. But he needs to make sure he finds those better blocking holes to make sure he can break off some of those bigger runs.
3rd down now for the Sparrows. Crowd getting loud here in Baltimore. Tyree under center. He'll swing it out to Hart. Hart stumbling backwards, throws a vicious stiff arm and is able to move the chains. Kaz McFly just getting thrown to the turf there by Colin Hart and moving the sticks for the Sparrows.
I wasn't sure if Sioux Falls was even going to be able to hold up that block long enough for Colin Hart to get past, but ultimately it didn't matter. He's able to stiff arm and go past him. So good job by Colin Hart making sure he knew that if that block wasn't going to hold up, he had to, stiff arm and get through there.
Man, that was, oof. I believe that was a crime on the field there, man. They should lock him up, take him to jail. Ooh, man. Play action for Tyree, throws it over the middle of the field. That's caught. And that is the fullback, Ashley Anderson, with the catch, bringing it out to the 6-yard line for a 2nd down and manageable.
Looks like Tyree is coming up on almost 100 yards passing, around 97 yards right now, being 11 for 12. So a very efficient passing the football so far is Sioux Falls.
I formation, 2nd and 3 from the 6. Hart with another handoff. Following blockers, lowering the shoulder, getting the 1st down out to the 1 before he's tackled. That'll be moving the sticks once again, and Sioux Falls looking good on this 3rd drive here.
Colin Hart so far is up to about 55 yards rushing on the day so far. Doing good, and it's still the first half, still setting a good pace for the rest of the game.
1st and goal from the 1. Hart with another handoff, and he gets stopped in the backfield this time. Good defense from the Vultures as they swarm Hart in the backfield for a loss of 3.
Seems like the goal line defense for Baltimore in this game has done really well so far. They kept Colin Hart out of the end zone on the previous drive, and they seem to be doing a good job keeping him out of the end zone in this current drive as well.
Tyree in the gun, 2 backs in the backfield with him on either side. Tyree's going to go with a sneak, and he gets absolutely annihilated. Defensive line gets a huge push, and the stop is made in the backfield. 3rd and goal coming up.
Yeah, the ball, they even got me on that trick. I was looking for the football, and then Tyree started moving forward, and he didn't make it very far.
No, Bishop Matumbo was there to knock him down. So that brings up a 3rd and goal here. Handoff to Hart, and the Vultures defense saw it coming the whole way. A great stop by Baltimore as Courtney Kate makes the stop in the backfield.
Great job of making sure when he grabbed Colin Hart, he pulled him down by the leg so he couldn't move, he couldn't go anywhere. He just kind of, fell over. You can't do much if your legs are being held. So tackling him up high is usually what he shrugs off, but they did a good job making sure they pulled him down.
Prefontaine on to attempt another field goal. 1 for 2 so far in this game. Good snap. Kick up and away and through from 23. So it is a 6-3 ball game. We're still working on getting the scoreboard corrected. Just remain patient with us while we do that. We appreciate it. It just further shows that Sioux Falls got robbed on that first drive there, Marcus.
Yeah, you want to make sure the officiating is as good as it can be, but unfortunately, sometimes the ref sees things a little bit differently.
So 6-3 the score, despite what the scoreboard says, as Cody Apollo brings it up to the 28-yard line for a 1st and 10. 3:21 left to go here in the half. Baltimore coming out in the 4-minute offense here, Marcus. What to expect from them?
I'd probably expect them to do a bit of running. Their passing has been okay, but it hasn't quite been as efficient as Sioux Falls. Maybe if they can get their receivers to break open a little more, that would be good, but they're best moving the ball when they run, so I'd expect that to keep going.
And we'll see if we get a heavy dose of T-Roy on this drive. He'll get the first play here as he gets across the 30 down to the 31-yard line for a gain of 3. The SFL is sponsored by APM Music, Bit Central, Harry's, and Matt Doyle Designs. Handoff again to T-Roy Gaines, and T-Roy getting wrapped up by the ankles once again as he's out across to the 33-yard line for a 3rd and 5 coming up.
T-Roy's definitely given a good attempt here, but those Sioux Falls defenders are really getting to him too quickly. He's just not able to get through them.
Dazzo's going to throw. He'll throw a juggling pass there as Apollo can't quite bring it in. It's going to be a 4th and 5 coming up here with 2:22 frozen on the clock in the first half.
Tough play. He was facing his quarterback, so even if he caught the ball, he would have had to try to turn around. There's a defender too close to him. I don't know even if he would have caught that, if he would have been able to turn around and make it to the first down marker. He was still a few yards short even when he was trying to catch the football.
So we'll see a Pablo Gates punt here. He had 3 of them blocked a week ago against the Fury. This one being contained well as he gets it away. Fielded at about the 30-yard line, and Riley Porter's going to go no further as Sioux Falls will take over with 2:13 left to go in all 3 timeouts. 6-3 your score here in Baltimore.
Sioux Falls is doing a little bit of a better job moving the football right now than Baltimore is doing, so they are in control of this game. Can't relax too much when you're only up by 3, but they do have the ability to go at their own pace on this drive and take as much time off the clock in this quarter as they need to before half.
Offset I formation, Colin Hart with a handoff, lowering the shoulder. Gets it across to the 35-yard line where it's going to bring up a 2nd and 6. And we have hit the Quip 2-minute warning here in Baltimore. 6-3 your score as you are watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Second and 6 now for Sioux Falls as Tyree is under center. Pro set for him. 3 wide receivers on the field as Tyree's going to zing it out to Colin Hart, and Colin Hart will make it just shy of the first down marker, which will bring up 3rd and inches. Quip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with time vibrations, brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat, and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean. Hart with another handoff on 3rd and inches, and the Baltimore defense gets in there and makes the stop. That's Kate once again making the stop in the backfield. 4th down, and Sioux Falls will have to punt.
Great job by Baltimore making sure they're able to stop Sioux Falls, not letting him run through and get that extra yard for the first down. Gives them a shot to get the ball back and try to get some more points before halftime.
So an impressive stop by Baltimore. They also have all 3 timeouts here as we creep inside of a minute left to go here in the first half. Sioux Falls taking their time getting the punt away. Max Mulholt, the punter, with a good one as he boots it downfield to Cody Apollo. who gets it across the 25 out to the 27-yard line. And Baltimore will have 43 seconds to work with and all 3 timeouts.
T-Roy is definitely a good runner and can be one of the best running backs in the league, but in a situation like this, they need to get their wide receivers open and moving. With only 40 seconds, they don't have time to run. They got to make sure they keep passing.
Dazza with 4 wide receivers. He's under center. He will do just that and throw the ball across the 40. Out. Actually, it will mark him right down at the 40-yard line where they will burn their first time out.
So it'll be interesting to see whether Baltimore is looking to try to tie the game with a field goal going in here, or whether they're going to try to go for that touchdown and take the lead before half.
There we go. We finally got our scoreboard guy to wake up a little bit down in the truck, and he adjusted that for you guys. So 6-3 now. Hey, all right. 39 seconds frozen on the clock, as the Vultures are looking good after 1 play. Turnaround handoff to T-Roy Gaines, and T-Roy makes it out to the 45. Well, they will run a little no huddle here.
A lot of trust in T-Roy, but when you start running, you got to do that no huddle.
Dazzo stepping up in the pocket, trying to find Daly Holder over towards the far sideline, and a great athletic play by Alex Parker to swat it down, bringing up a 3rd down.
Good job, but not the worst thing in the world for Baltimore. It stops the clock. They can huddle up and try to figure out what they're going to do on 3rd down here. But it was definitely a good stop for Sioux Falls, but time is not on Baltimore's side, so I think they'd rather take the incomplete pass than the stoppage of time.
Empty set, 5 wideouts for Dazzo as he's in the gun. Standing at about the 40. Take a 3-step drop, pressure coming. He'll throw it over the middle. That's caught for a 1st down and more. Out to the 46-yard line. They'll run a little no huddle once again. Still got 2 timeouts. We'll see how quickly Dazzo can get this off. With 9 frozen on the clock, he'll throw it deep towards the sideline. Tipped in incomplete. Bishop Warfield was the intended receiver on the play, and it looked like he had a step there, Marcus.
He either could have taken that ball and potentially gone to the end zone, or if he wasn't sure enough, he could have stepped out of bounds and they would potentially be in field goal ranges. It's really too bad he didn't catch that ball, but you know, sometimes it happens. You just got to make sure when you get the opportunity and getting your hands on the football, you come down with it.
So with 6 seconds left, excuse me, Dazzo's going to attempt the Hail Mary here. Pressure's going to come. Dazzo avoids the sack. He'll throw it deep. Has the opportunity. Back of the end zone. Tipped and incomplete as the clock hits 0. And we hit halftime here as it is a 6-3 ball game in favor of the visiting Sioux Falls Sparrows. We will bring up the 2K Sports halftime show, bringing you all of the first half stats and highlights. You're watching the SFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth in chilly Baltimore, Maryland. It's feeling like -1 out there on the football field tonight, and we didn't get any heaters. What's up with that, Marcus? What happened?
Well, I come from Wisconsin, so I'm used to the cold. I don't know about you. So maybe they just didn't feel you needed a heater.
I'm a Florida boy, man. I'm freezing everything off here. It's no fun whatsoever. But we've got some fun out on the football field as Baltimore's going to get the second half kickoff here. Cody Apollo bringing it up to the 31-yard line. Good return for the Vultures. And we were talking about this a little bit off air. This has been a very back-and-forth ball game. Very good ball game. And this is what we were expecting from these two teams.
Both teams have been doing a good job running the ball, but the difference between these two teams is that Sioux Falls has done a way better job passing the football than Baltimore. And if they want to stay competitive, they need to start passing the football efficiently as well.
Dazzo is going to throw out the gate. He'll toss it over to his fullback as he'll get a gain of 3 out to the 34-yard line. Chad Morgan with the reception.
Good start, getting Dazzo a few comfortable throws. So let's see if he can start opening up. There's Bishop Warfield, who's struggled a little bit. 3 catches for 21 yards so far in the game.
Coming off over a 100-yard performance, in fact, close to a 200-yard performance last week against the Vegas Fury. As T-Roy gets another handoff, he'll bring it out to the 38-yard line. Will be a 3rd and manageable. And this is where they've kind of struggled today, Marcus, is that they have not converted these 3rd and manageable situations.
I think they've relied a little bit too much on the run so far today. And, you know, T-Roy's a good runner, but he can't quite get through this on his own.
We'll see what happens here. Daly Holder with the catch on the near sideline, and he's breaking tackles out to the 47-yard line before he's eventually dragged down. Good conversion there for the Vultures.
They really need those 3rd down conversions to keep these drives alive. They don't want to be punting the football back. They're only down 3, but in such a close game, a 7-point score for a touchdown can do wonders. It can make it very difficult for the other team to come back, because if it stays in field goals, they need 2 drives just to even come close to tying it, or 3 drives to take the lead again.
It's a very well-designed play there as Holder was able to get free. 3 wideouts towards the bottom of the screen. Dazzo in the gun. He's going to throw it across the middle of the field to Cody Apollo, who gets a 9-yard grab. Tackle made on the play by A.J. Levy.
Good job by Sioux Falls. They potentially could have had some blockers for Baltimore, but I don't think the other receivers knew quite where that football was going. So it was a great job getting past those other receivers and pulling them down for modest gain.
Heavy formation here for the Vultures. T-Roy getting the handoff, finding the hole, breaking out across the 40-yard line to the 39.
T-Roy got good blocks on that. There was a defender for Sioux Falls that had a chance maybe to get a hand on T-Roy behind the line. But great blocking by Baltimore opened up that hole for T-Roy.
Vultures looking good here on their first possession of the second half, moving into enemy territory out to the Sioux Falls 39-yard line. 3 wide receivers towards the top of the screen. Dazzo's going to throw it quickly over the middle, and he's got his man. Another 9-yard gain out to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 1 coming up.
Dazzo's starting to get the football moving a little bit more, but just to compare the passes a little bit, Dazzo is 10 for 16, and Tyree is 13 for 14.
A little bit of inconsistency on the part of the veteran as T-Roy following blockers, and he's got room on the far sideline out to the 13-yard line before he's eventually tackled by Levy and company.
T-Roy is definitely showing that his injury last week is not hurting his gameplay this week. He's taken every opportunity to stiff-arm people and get those yards.
And TMG Jr. in the chat was just calling out T-Roy a little bit earlier, saying, old boy needs to step it up wearing number 35, and that was a heck of a run there by T-Roy to get his offense going. Empty set this time for Dazzo. 5 wide receivers, 3 towards the top of the screen. Dazzo's going to throw. He'll throw it towards the far sideline, tipped and incomplete. He's been looking for his favorite target, Warfield, all night and just has not been able to convert with him.
it's been the Sioux Falls defense. They've just made sure they got their hand on every single football. When I saw he was going to throw that football, I knew if he was going to get it over the defender, that was a touchdown. But great job by Sioux Falls to make sure that ball doesn't make it to Warfield.
Now a 2nd and 10. Dazzo under center this time. Gaines back in the backfield. Dazzo to throw. Throw it towards the near sideline this time. He's got Weber, and Weber steps out of bounds, but not before getting the first down. It'll be a 1st and goal for Baltimore.
I thought there was a chance he might have stepped out a little bit earlier, but he did a great job making sure before he made it past the first down marker that he didn't step out, although it's too bad he did step out. I think he was very close to being able to make that touchdown.
We'll see if Baltimore can retake the lead here. 1st and goal from the 3, I formation for Dazzo and company. Turnaround handoff to Gaines. Gaines in trouble, and he'll go down for a loss of 1 in the backfield. Good play out there by Killian Anderson, making sure that he's brought down in the backfield.
I think the goal line defense by both teams has been really good so far in this game. You don't see a whole lot of great goal line defense sometimes. Usually once you get to the 2 or 3, you can run it in sometimes fairly easy.
T-Roy's going to get another handoff. He's dragging defenders into the end zone, and that'll be a touchdown for Baltimore.
Great job by T-Roy. First touchdown of the game here. He had a defender on his back, and it didn't slow him down at all. Great job by making sure that he knew he just needed to move forward because it was wide open lanes ahead of him. Nobody was going to stop him from getting into the end zone as long as he didn't let that defender drag him to the ground.
And so the first touchdown of the evening goes to T-Roy Gaines as the fireworks sound here in Baltimore. Tarkington on the field to convert the extra point. Low snap. Kick is up and through anyway, so a 10-6 ball game now in favor of the hometown Vultures. And a good-looking drive there by the Vultures offense. Excuse me, Marcus.
It's probably been their best drive of the game so far. The receiving was good. The running was good. They got that touchdown. Now they got that 4-point lead. So as long as if Sioux Falls only got, let's say, a field goal, they'd still be in the lead. So it's good momentum to have that touchdown on their side.
And Tarkington with a smooth boot down the field. Riley Porter fielding it at his goal line, following blockers, but he won't get past the 23-yard line as Bishop Matumbo makes another stop there. He's had a good-looking resume tonight. 3 tackles, 1 for loss.
That was a long drive by Baltimore. You know, they got the ball coming out of the second half there, and I believe this is Sioux Falls' first drive in the second half.
Absolutely. Took a ton of time off the clock. You're absolutely right, Marcus. 6:28 left to go here in the third quarter, and Sioux Falls just now getting on the football field as Colin Hart gets a handoff, and Tony Willis will not be denied as he drags him down in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Baltimore's defense keeping Colin Hart down, which is good. For a while, Colin Hart was leading in rushing for the entire game until the previous drive. T-Roy kicked it into gear and finally got up on Colin Hart in rushing yards.
Offset I formation for the Sparrows. Tyree will zing it out to Colin Hart, and Hart will eventually get dragged down there by McFly, and he will gain about 5 on the play there.
So much trust in Colin Hart to be able to get those yards, I think. You know, if the quarterback's in trouble, they believe in Colin Hart to be able to bail him out, and there he goes, gets, 4 or so yards, and keeps it moving.
3 wide receivers lined up towards the bottom of the screen. Play action. Tyree will throw it to the far sideline. Caught, but out of bounds, shy of the first down marker is A.J. Warren. It'll be a 4th down coming up for Sioux Falls.
That's tough. That's one of those situations where you wish you had reached out the football, and he didn't do that, and that's going to cost them the first down. It's one of those things. They're so close, and they have Colin Hart. They're going to be punting it here, but it's one of those things where I would think about, well, we got 1 yard. Should we really run it? But they're going to play it safe.
And we'll get another punt here from Sioux Falls. as Apollo fields it and will get dragged down. Not too much farther after that at the 36-yard line. We'll give you a quick score stream update. Score stream, the official scoring app of the SFL. Out in San Francisco, 13-10 the score in favor of the Sharks over the Night Wings. Queen City visiting the Bayou down south in New Orleans, 28-17 your score there. And Indy down in Tulsa, and Tulsa with a 17-13 lead over the Spitfire. Dazzo's going to throw deep, and it's tipped and incomplete. Again looking for Warfield, and again this secondary of Sioux Falls standing up tall to the task.
They're just not letting Warfield get anything. And, you know, I love watching those deep passes because, you know, either a defender might make a good play on it or you're going to see a good gain from a receiver. So I like when they make those tries because Baltimore hasn't even been testing those long passes too much in this game.
Dazzo under center, gains the single back, and Gaines throwing his shoulder in front of him there, knocking a defender to the ground, only gets 3 on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Definitely good defense from both teams in the last couple drives here. We've seen Sioux Falls stepping up and stopping Baltimore a little bit more, and Baltimore doing a good job making sure Sioux Falls isn't moving too far either.
So Dazzo with time, he'll throw it towards the near sideline again, tipped and incomplete. I think there was a miscommunication on the play. Holder looks like he was running deep, and Dazzo definitely cut that route off there.
You know, the difference here you can see in the amount of attempts and completed passes is 11 for 20 for Dazzo, and so many of those are just passes that are blocked or tipped or knocked down from Sioux Falls. You know, very few of them are passes that are off because he's thrown off. Most of those are incompletes because of good defense by Sioux Falls.
And you can see there that very clearly that they were on the right page there, just a bad camera angle on my part. But, yeah, absolutely. This Sioux Falls secondary has been absolutely unreal and has been forcing more runs by T-Roy Gaines. So we will see what's to come of the Baltimore offense as they are forced to punt over to Sioux Falls. And Sioux Falls will get just their 2nd possession here of the 3rd quarter as they were forced to punt it away their last time around.
15 for 16 for Tyree with 113 yards right now. So their passing offense is definitely working. It just hasn't been working quite yet in the second half.
2 backs in the backfield for Tyree. Pressure coming. He'll throw it to the near sideline. Caught by Harrelson and steps out of bounds just as he's trying to turn upfield. He'll get 4 on that play.
Make it 2nd and 6, which gives them the ability to potentially run it here. You know, if Hart doesn't get all 6 yards, it'll make it probably 3rd and manageable, or they can go for another throw.
You see Colin Hart there with 7 catches and 38 yards in the air.
Caught every football thrown to him so far.
The sure-handed back is in the offset I formation. He will get a handoff, and he'll get dragged down by Amon Takes and Giovanni Bolt as he brings it out across the 30 to the 31. 3rd and 2 coming up here.
Sets them up in good position where they can either run for those 2 yards or pass, depending on which side of the coin they feel like going on. Not too restricted in terms of their play calling.
Absolutely. Opens up the play calling quite a bit here on 3rd and short. Tyree's going to throw. Pressure's coming, and he goes down. Looks like he was trying to set up a screen there to Colin Hart, but the blocking just was not there up front for Tyree.
Not enough blocking, and everything opened up right in front of him. I almost thought maybe he should just run for it because there was nobody ahead of him. I think he could have made it to the 1st down marker if he would have made that decision that he needed to pull it down and run.
So another great stop by the Baltimore defense. Back and forth we go here. 10-6 your score in favor of the Vultures. They will get the ball back here courtesy of the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Block is coming, doesn't get there. as Cody Apollo will get wrapped up at the 41-yard line. The SFL is sponsored in part by MediaTek Institute, Me Undies, the world's most comfortable underwear for men and women, Movement, premium watches, sunglasses, and accessories. And we've got a 1st and 10 here from the Baltimore 41. Dazzo takes the low snap, pressure coming. He'll check it down to T-Roy, and T-Roy has absolutely nowhere to go. He'll get bottled up for a loss of 4. Great defense by the Sparrows.
You can see the quarterback numbers there. Tyree moving the ball a little more and Dazzo having that interception. But yeah, T-Roy didn't have very far to go on that one. I think he was looking around trying to figure out where he could go, and it just collapsed on him immediately.
Bunched receivers towards the top of the screen on 2nd and long for the Vultures. Dazzo's going to throw. He'll throw towards the far sideline. He's got Holder as he's escorted out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Good gain of 8 there. Brings up 3rd and 6.
See what they're going to do here on 3rd down. Couple yards makes it a little bit easier, but they need to make sure if they can keep the ball on their side of the field here with Baltimore, they can put a lot of pressure on Sioux Falls.
So get a look at T-Roy there in the backfield. He is sidecar right to Dazzo in the gun, who's got 4 wide receivers in this formation. Dazzo has time. He'll throw it, and he's got his man Cody Apollo out across the 1st down marker, down at the 38-yard line. Good catch there by the punt returner Apollo.
It was a great job for them to find an open spot where the defense wasn't playing out very far, and they were able to make that catch over the 1st down marker. I think the defenders for Sioux Falls gave them a little bit too much room.
So we get a look at T-Roy's numbers there. 65 yards on the ground. Certainly no slouch in the run game. He is one of 2 backs in the backfield as Dazzo throws it out to Gaines. Gaines not able to throw the stiff arm there as Nick Fargo comes up and makes the tackle.
Good job by Fargo to get past and make sure he wasn't blocked on his way to tackle Gaines. Made a great play in the football, didn't let Gaines get more than a couple yards.
Two wide receivers towards the top of the screen. Gaines in the backfield. Dazzo, quick throw just as he's hit to Gaines. Gaines getting ushered out of bounds right before the 1st down marker. 3rd and short coming up here with 1:08 left to go in the 3rd.
So far, so good. They keep that clock moving. They're on the other side of the field. It's only a couple yards to the 1st down marker. No need to worry. They're still up by 4. They just need to convert this, and then they'll should be well on their way into field goal range, especially with their kicker.
Yeah, this is definitely within Tarkington's wheelhouse already. Definitely want to make them a little bit more comfortable here, or possibly get in the end zone, but that's not going to happen as T-Roy gets bottled up in the backfield once again by Nick Fargo, and that'll bring up a 4th and 3. Tarkington will have to come on and attempt a field goal.
Lots of kicking in this game if you're a fan of field goals.
Well, and this one's going to be a long one, too. 48 yards for Shark Tarkington. The 2nd-year kicker. Good snap and hold. Kick on the way, and it is through from 47 yards. Definitely not a gimme, but he lengthens the lead for his Vultures.
Lead's going to go up from 4 to 7, which means now Sioux Falls needs a touchdown to tie the game. And so far, Sioux Falls has struggled a little bit with the offense and scoring points. They got 2 field goals, but they haven't gotten into the end zone yet.
Tarkington boots it down the field. Riley Porter will field the kick as he sidesteps one defender, but gets slammed down to the turf at the 24-yard line. Sioux Falls will take over with just about 13 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
now that you're down by 7, I think you got to do some more aggressive play calling to make sure that lead doesn't get any further out of hand. You want to be as close to them in points as you can going into the fourth quarter.
And you certainly have some weapons to do that with, and Sean Harrelson, A.J. Warren, and Riley Porter. Colin Hart, though, is having trouble this second half as Tony Willis gets another tackle for loss as Hart gets dragged down behind the line of scrimmage there. And we have hit the end of the third quarter. Close ball game here in chilly Baltimore. 13-6 your score in favor of the Vultures as you are watching the SFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Get a look at Tony Willis coming up to his safety spot, flipping sides of the field. Sioux Falls setting up shop at the 20-yard line, 2nd and 14 for the first play of the fourth quarter. Colin Hart throwing a stiff arm down, but not getting much further. Great pursuit by the Baltimore defense as he's only able to get a couple out of the play.
Makes you wonder if they're running a little bit too much. That's the 24th run attempt by Colin Hart so far in this game. And he's doing okay. His yards per carry is a little bit under 3, which could be better. But they need to supplement it with a little more passing, especially when they're down.
Tyree takes the high snap, throws it downfield, and Harrelson just couldn't quite reel in the acrobatic catch. It falls to the turf, incomplete, and Sioux Falls will have to punt again.
It's unfortunate he dived for it, tried to get it. Looked like it might have been a little bit overthrown, but punting, is not where Sioux Falls wants to be. So far, Baltimore has done a lot better moving the ball and getting points. And when you're down 7 in the fourth quarter, you don't want them to make it a 14-point game because that's a very, very hard hole to dig out of.
Max Mulholt will punt the ball once again for Sioux Falls. Baltimore will have good starting field position here as Apollo not able to get much on the return out to the 41-yard line. And that's where Dazzo and company will take over for their first possession of the fourth quarter.
T-Roy's probably jumping for joy that he's going to get the football a bit more now that they're up, but seeing as what happened last week, he probably shouldn't jump too much.
And for those of you that did not see the Baltimore game last week, he had a back spasms that forced him out of the ball game last week. Certainly looking good this week, though, but Dazzo not looking good on this play as he goes down in the backfield. Marcellus Morton able to drag him down for the loss on the play.
Good job, Sioux Falls, making him go backward. Didn't get Dazzo enough time to make anything happen with the football, which means that's exactly what they need to do. They need to, at any cost, stop Baltimore from getting points to give them a shot of coming back in this football game, or at least a much easier chance to tie the game.
Bunch wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen. Dazzo throws it towards that bunch there, and finally Bishop Warfield, his favorite wide receiver, gets the connection there, and he'll bring it out to the 49-yard line. A good gain to bring up a 3rd and short.
He was awfully close to the sideline that entire run. I was kind of wondering, did he step out at any point? He spent an awful lot of time with his foot right along that sideline. But at any case, a great job making sure he stayed in and get them closer to that first down marker.
Certainly a death-defying tightrope walk there for Warfield. But the Vultures will have to convert 3rd and 2 here at the 49. 2 backs in the backfield for Dazzo. Dazzo will hand it off to Gaines, who absolutely bowls over Nick Fargo and gets across the first down marker to the 45.
Good run. You need to be able to rely on your running backs to get those 2 or 3 yards in crucial 3rd downs, and they were able to do it, which means they're going to keep the pressure on Sioux Falls, they're going to keep the clock running, and they're going to go for those points.
Clock continues to run as we approach 9 minutes left in the ball game. Dazzo under center with 2 backs. Gains one of them, and he'll get a big handoff here out to the 38-yard line for a gain of 8.
T-Roy's just doing a good job making sure, for the most part, they're not going backwards. Gets the ball here, has a good hold to run in, had to duck around, and was able to pick up a few yards.
And like you said, Marcus, Gaines jumping for joy here that he's getting more touches here on the ground, and jumping for joy that he's able to get a ton of yards on those touches, as well as his offensive line opening up holes for them. Not this time, though, as Gaines gets swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage, and that's Nick Fargo once again with the stop.
Gaines took a good hit when he got to the line of scrimmage. You know, sometimes when those running backs get hit, sometimes they'll fall forward, sometimes they'll get a yard. T-Roy got hit and he just fell backwards.
So now a 3rd and 2. We've seen this plenty of times today from Baltimore. Sioux Falls showing blitz. They back out of it. Throws it to the near sideline. Got his completion anyway. And that's Warfield once again converting the first down out to the 31-yard line.
That play looked like it could have either gone to Warfield or gone to Gaines. Gaines was on the left side as well, and I think he might have been able to get it, but good job by Warfield catching that ball and getting that first down. He hasn't had the greatest game so far, but at least he's making the catches when they matter.
Another handoff here to Gaines, who gets maybe a couple on the play. A.J. Levy coming up and making the stop, along with McGee.
Good stop here for Sioux Falls. One of the things for Baltimore is they know that the clock is on their side. So even if they don't run for a whole lot of yards every now and then, as long as they can keep burning time off that clock, as long as they can keep getting points, that clock is always going to be in their favor.
2nd and 9 now. Dazzo's going to throw. Good pocket protection, and Warfield is wide open, crossing across the middle of the field, out across the first down marker into the SFL red zone, down at the 17-yard line.
It looked like they stacked the line of scrimmage potentially for a run, and right away before the ball was snapped, the linebackers backed off and gave him too much room. So I think they tried to make the quarterback think he was going to blitz. They backed off and gave Warfield too much room to make a catch.
Warfield now with 6 catches for 41 yards on the night. Dazzo going to throw again. He's got Holder with a fumble. And Sioux Falls covers it up at the 13-yard line. I'm not sure that was an incompletion, though, there, Marcus.
I'm interested to see here how they're going to rule that, if that's going to stay a fumble. It looked like, well, he did have it and he took a step, so that's pretty close. It looked like he caught it and turned and took a step, so that might stay a fumble.
We'll see if we'll get another challenge here. I don't know, Marcus. Doesn't look like we will. And that is officially a fumble. Covered up by Sioux Falls, and Sioux Falls back in business as they are down by 7. Good stop there by the Sparrows defense. As Tyree will throw, he'll throw it over the middle. Dangerous pass to Harrelson that is complete out to the 19-yard line.
So now Sioux Falls down by 7. They need to put something together on this drive to stay in it. They don't want to take too much time off the clock here and give it back to Baltimore.
Offset I formation for Tyree. Hands it off to Hart. Hart probably could have bounced it to the outside. Instead, stays inside. And he makes it out to the 21-yard line, where it's going to be a 3rd and short coming up.
Colin Hart's a really good runner, but this just isn't quite his game. The defense for Baltimore has been holding him. He's gotten plenty of yards, but his average per run is not very high in this particular game.
Heavy set formation here, and Colin Hart is going down in the backfield. He had absolutely no chance as Baltimore blew that play up.
Sioux Falls is running a lot more than Baltimore is. If we compare the amount of runs that both teams has done, it looks like Baltimore has only run the ball 16 times, and I'll get your number for Sioux Falls after this punt.
Carter Abraham with the huge stop on defense as Sioux Falls is forced to punt the ball away. Again, Cody Apollo with a small return out to the 46-yard line, but still good field position here for Baltimore. Sioux Falls wasn't able to do anything with the turnover. What more do you have for us, Marcus?
Sioux Falls has 25 running attempts here, so it looks like they have run the ball 9 more times so far than Baltimore, so they are definitely sticking to that running attack, but they're starting to run out of time to get it to work.
Clock frozen at 4:57 here for Dazzo and company as T-Roy follows his hole out to the 49-yard line, gain of 3 on the play.
Move the ball, move the clock. It's the goal of Baltimore here. Minimum get into field goal range, maximum score a touchdown, which potentially could put the game out of reach.
It's really all they have to do here, just run that clock. Dazzo under center, offset I formation. He'll snap the ball at 15 as T-Roy is bowling over defenders once again, making that across the first down marker to the 44-yard line.
Hurts a lot for Sioux Falls every time Baltimore gets a first down, was able to shrug off that tackle and lower the shoulder, bowl over a defender, and make it to the line of the first down. So gives Baltimore a whole new set of downs to continue to kill that clock.
T-Roy getting closer and closer to the century mark on the ground, up to 90 yards and a touchdown rushing tonight. And we will probably see more of him as the Vultures keep trying to kill some clock. T-Roy with another handoff and another yard added to his stat column tonight, out to the 42-yard line.
Sioux Falls was definitely showing blitz on that particular run, and they did a good job bottling up the middle of the field and making sure he couldn't make it very far. Was only able to get a gain of about 1 or 2 there.
Get a look at Bishop Warfield. He's been a popular target, only reeling in 6 catches for 55 yards. Sparrows were definitely game planning for him on this chilly Baltimore night tonight as T-Roy gets stopped in the backfield once again. Fargo in there on the stop along with a couple other Sioux Falls Sparrows defenders. Say that 3 times fast. 3 times fast? 25 times fast? I'll stop talking.
As many times as you want. But now the question is, what is Baltimore going to do? They're outside of field goal range. They have the ability just to run it and chew that clock down, or they could throw it and try to get that first down. So I'm interested to see where they decide to go on this. It looks like they're going to be passing the football.
3rd and 10, not really much of a choice here. Trying to convert the first down marker, or the first down, and keep things going here. Putting the nail in the coffin as Dazzo throws it down the field. He was looking for Holder on that play. Just a little bit too far, and the ball falls incomplete. 2:35 frozen on the clock here.
The tough thing is that secondary for Sioux Falls has been so good not letting Dazzo make those throws. So I'm not really in any way surprised that that was the result here. So good job, stops the clock, gives Sioux Falls more opportunities.
Quick score stream check as we look around the SFL. Queen City with a slim lead down in the Bayou in New Orleans, 31-28 over the Pharaohs. Tulsa starting to gain a big lead over the Spitfires. They are at home. 30-17 the score there, and a 30-30 ball game tied up between the Sharks and the Nightwings in Frisco. Here our score 13-6 as Sioux Falls calls for a fair catch. Riley Porter will give the ball back to his offense with 2:29 left to go here in the ball game.
Smart move to call for the fair catch. That was pretty close to the point where if he had let it roll, it might have gotten down very close to the goal line. So just, make a concession and, get the ball away from your goal line and take that fair catch and get it up to about the 12-yard line.
So we'll see if Tyree can close this drive here with a game-tying touchdown as he throws it to the far sideline, gets Sean Harrelson on an out route for a 7-yard gain out to the 19.
Looks like Sioux Falls in the chat are pretty excited to see their offense get throwing the ball a little more, so hopefully we will see that on this drive. They started out throwing the football, made a good job getting 7 yards. Let's see if they continue to throw or if they start switching to runs.
It's like they'll continue to throw it here. As Tyree's in the gun, he'll throw it deep and couldn't quite make the catch. Led him just a bit too far out there, did Tyree. So a 3rd and 3 is coming up here with 2:22 frozen on the clock.
there wasn't a lot to do there. Tyree, they were rushing in on him very quickly, and he didn't have any more time. I feel like if Tyree would have had more time to throw that football, he might have been able to catch that receiver in stride for a touchdown, but that defender was barreling in on him, and he just said, you know what, here's the ball. I can't keep it anymore. You have to make a play on it.
Tyree with the snap. He'll throw it over the middle of the field. Dangerous pass, and it's converted for a first down as they go no huddle.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I thought the Baltimore defenders would have gotten a hand on that one.
Tyree is going to get one more play off before the 2-minute warning, but we do have some MeUndies laundry on the field. We'll have to see what the penalty marker is. I believe we'll get some defensive pass interference here. And the Baltimore crowd does not like that call, but I saw it up here, partner. What do you think?
Yeah, it looked like he just got in the way before the ball even got there, which was too bad. And you could see in the replay, or after the play, the Sioux Falls people definitely knew that was a penalty, and they were pointing over at Baltimore looking for that flag.
So the penalty marker makes it a 1st and 10 with 2:07 left to go here in the ball game. 3 wide receivers bunched towards the bottom of the screen. Quick pass over the middle, and that's to the tight end, Hearn, and he'll make it across to the midfield stripe as we have reached the quick 2-minute warning. 13-6 your score here in chilly Baltimore, but Sioux Falls, they're driving down the field. We'll see what happens. You're watching the ESFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. MeUndies are the world's most comfortable underwear. Visit MeUndies.com/SimulationFL for 15% off your purchase, which will help support the SFL through our partnership. Give the gift of comfort with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, free shipping, and returns. Picked off by Joe Dazzo. Baltimore getting the interception and the turnover they need, going back the other way, and that was not what you wanted to see from Sioux Falls.
No, and I saw that as soon as it got tipped, I'm like, oh man, he's got a chance to make a play on that football, and it went right into his hands. And, you know, from where Baltimore's sitting and how much time's left on the clock, that might just be it for Sioux Falls here. We'll see how many timeouts they have left, see how many, looks like they still have all their timeouts, so they can, as long as they don't get a first down, they can get the ball back with some decent time. But that's definitely not going to help them win this game.
Sioux Falls stacking the box here, expecting a run. T-Roy still able to get 4 yards out of the play before Sioux Falls calls their first timeout.
The downside for Sioux Falls here is Baltimore got almost half the yards they need on that single run. They can't let that happen again, because if they get a first down, they're going to see significant time come off the clock because they're going to be out of timeouts pretty soon.
Heavy formation this time for the Vultures as T-Roy gets another handoff, and another timeout will be burned by the Sparrows as he gets knocked down at the 48.
You know, it's almost certain it's going to be a run. Those safeties are playing pretty far back. I'd be a little bit worried about that, because if T-Roy makes it past the linebackers, those safeties aren't going to get to him before he makes it past the first down marker.
Sioux Falls needs to get this stop here in order to stay in the ball game. 3rd and 4 from the 48 of Baltimore. Hand off to T-Roy, and T-Roy does get stopped before the line to gain right at midfield. And Sioux Falls will burn their final timeout here, so they will get the ball back with an opportunity to tie the game.
That's good, because if they wouldn't have gotten that, they still would have taken their timeout, but then they would have had 2 or 3 runs to burn nearly all the clock off. So now they're going to get the ball back with some decent clock, where they have one more drive potentially to try to score it, or they might not win this ball game.
Gates with another punt there as Riley Porter fields it just outside of the 15-yard line. Well, he will be dragged down at the 14, so a long drive to go here for Sioux Falls with no timeouts left and only a minute 38 left on the clock.
Can't throw any interceptions. You wonder how much that last interception is weighing on him. You know, it wasn't necessarily a bad throw. It was just tipped into the defender's hands, but a turnover won the game here, so We just need to make sure if Sioux Falls is going to win this game, they need to keep the ball in their players' hands.
Trips towards the bottom of the screen. Tyree will throw over the middle of the field, and that was almost intercepted. He was looking for Harrelson, but a good defensive play by Benjamin Paul to cause the incompletion.
Risky pass and also good defense there by Baltimore. The question is, do they try to just knock it down or do they try to get that interception to end the game?
Two backs in the backfield for Tyree. He's under center. Short drop. Tyree will swing it out to Colin Hart, and Hart's got some room before he gets ushered out of bounds. Good gain of 6 on the play as we get a look at the quarterback's numbers for today.
Both quarterbacks are actually pretty even. Only 4 yards separates them, and they both have an interception. So I think the first half was definitely Sioux Falls' half for passing, and the second half is definitely Baltimore's.
And it is getting loud here in Vulture Stadium as the crowd on their feet. 3rd and 4 for Sioux Falls. Tyree to throw. He'll throw it to the near sideline for a first down out to A.J. Warren before he steps out of bounds, stops the clock at 1:25.
They're moving the ball, but they're moving the ball in shorter chunks. And it's kind of working, but eventually they're going to run out of time if they keep doing that. They need to start picking up some bigger chunks of yards.
Still got some room to go from the 27-yard line of Sioux Falls. 1st and 10 for the Sparrows, and Tyree goes down. No blocking up front there by the offensive line, Marcus.
That's going to kill some time. You can't let those sacks happen this close to the end of the game.
Tyree throws it towards the far sideline, and it's intercepted. That is Hendrix Wild Thornberry with his first pick of the afternoon. Tyree's second, and that'll be the ball game there.
Looks like Thornberry is going to get this interception and win the game here for Baltimore. So definitely a great play, and unfortunately for Sioux Falls, they just didn't have any big opportunity to make any pass play, so they started making some risky throws to try to come back. And you can't play risky football in this Baltimore secondary.
Overall, a great ball game by both squads as Dazzo takes a knee there in victory formation. We expected this to be a back-and-forth ball game. We honestly expected the kicker really to be the deciding factor, considering Shark Tarkington, the only signed kicker between these two squads.
I thought both sides would do maybe a better job moving the football. Baltimore was a little surprised. They struggled a little more to move the football through the air than I had expected, but that's because of a great job by Sioux Falls has done to keep them in check, but unfortunately it hasn't quite been enough. The offense just wasn't able to get enough points.
Dazzo will take another knee, and that will probably be the final game, or the final play of the game.
Looks like he can just let that clock wind down to 0. I wonder on that interception there if Tyree was a little bit rushed because he had been sacked and the clock was running, so maybe he was a bit worried about the clock, needed to get something done, snapped the ball too quickly, didn't get enough time to talk to his receivers, whatever it may be. Unfortunately, that'll, put the nail in the coffin.
So the Vultures will get the victory, move to 2-1 on the year, as they get a 13-6 win against the Sioux Falls Sparrows as we bring up the 2K Sports postgame show. And we're going to look at the final game stats and highlights here. Any final thoughts, Marcus, before we let the people go?
Well, you can see that the time of possession was very close. The passing yards was very close. The difference was the rushing yards. They just kept running Colin Hart over and over, and although he's good, he just couldn't quite get the yards that was needed. T-Roy picked up a bit more in yards, and I think what ended up happening was Sioux Falls just chewed too much time off the clock, relied too much on the run too early, and then by the time they started getting passing, it was a little bit too late, and they started forcing throws that came away as interceptions. So it's a little bit unfortunate, a little bit too run-based, and Baltimore was able to get ahead of them and keep that run in check, and I think that's ultimately what won the game for Baltimore.
So as I mentioned, Baltimore moving to 2-1 on the young SFL Season 12. They will get a bye week next week. Sioux Falls falling to 1-2. They will get a home game coming up against the defending two-time champion, Alaska Storm, as they will visit Liberty Park up there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. On behalf of Marcus Dunhill and Lee Pato on Stats Tonight, want to thank you guys for joining us for this presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Your 2K Sports player of the game is T-Roy Gaines. 24 attempts, 97 yards and a touchdown, and 1 single receiving yard on this Martin Luther King Day. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Check out all the SFL action and stay tuned for Week 4 coming up next week. Good night and have a great week.